Welcome to Outlaw Theology with the Whiskey Preacher. I'm your host, Phil Shepard, better known as the Whiskey Preacher. In this episode of Outlaw Theology, I want to tackle the very sensitive issue that's been buzzing the interwebs this week, and that is the 40th anniversary of Roe versus Wade. I'm not really interested in having the debate here on Outlaw Theology whether abortion is right or wrong, even though I think that conversation is important, but however, it really creates a nasty mudsling that I'm not necessarily interested in on at least this episode of Outlaw Theology. What I'm interested in is specifically addressing the female viewers that watch Outlaw Theology. I want to ask you two questions, and I realize that, again, that this is a very sensitive subject, and I want to respect that. But I think it's very valuable that we have this conversation, period. So the questions I'm asking you, number one is, should men even have a voice in this conversation, at least as it goes to writing the legislation of abortion? Should we even have a voice in this? With the blurring lines of the religious right and the political culture here in the United States, we know that conservative politics has made abortion a very key issue within their polity. And unfortunately, what makes up a majority of the religious right who thinks that they are the voice for the entire church is old white men. I'm here to tell you today that the church is made up of a lot more than old white men. They may be the loudest voices at times, but they are not speaking for all of us. There are many different voices that make up the church. There's the queer voice, there is the feminist voice, there is the conservative voice, there is the liberal voice, there is voices of different color other than white old males. So this leads me to my second question. What should the church's response be to Roe versus Wade? I think we, as the larger church, are in a unique time and place to address Roe versus Wade. We, for the longest time, have ostracized men and women who have been involved in the process of abortions, so far so that crazy radicals have gone and bombed abortion clinics and killed abortion doctors in places like Planned Parenthood, which I think is totally unacceptable. We've also demonized women who have actually had abortions, and I think that has to stop now. No matter whether you think abortion is right or wrong, the way we treat people and the way that God has commissioned us to love people, whether we believe what they do is right or wrong, it should be our number one concern. Just for a quick recap, and again, this is specifically to the female audience of Outlaw Theology. One, should men even have a voice in the legislation on abortion? And two, what should be the healthy response to abortion for the church? Please feel free to have this conversation on Twitter. If you do so, please have the hashtag #WhiskeyPreacher. You can hit the comment section here below. Feel free to say what you want there. Or you can go to facebook.com/WhiskeyPreacher. And don't forget to like the fan page and have the conversation there. Thank you for joining Outlaw Theology, and I look forward to having this conversation with you.